Deserving to win and not winning is better than winning without deserving. Deserving to win and not winning is better than winning without deserving. Those who were there at Crescendo last year would have heard me speak on this topic. This was the topic for the district finals in table topics. This topic is very close to my heart because it got me a trophy, but not the one which I wanted. I believe you never win the second place. You always lose the first. Anyone who is contesting over here or has ever contested in their lives aimed that yes, I want to come second. No, right? All of you want to come first. So what I'll be sharing now is my journey of how I attempted a couple of topics and how I reached the district level or the runner-up level. How to win at district level, I myself am still figuring it out. So hopefully if I win this year, you guys will call me again next year and I can tell you that as well. Now speaking about table topics, I'll take you from the journey for the table topics contest, where you are in the waiting room, how you are called on stage, and how you should attempt, not should, how you can attempt a topic, right? So this is just my own style of attempting topics. You can develop your own style separately. Have all of you received the sheets over here? Yeah? Excellent. So the first thing in the bottom 4 portions, breathe. Whenever there is any contest, all of you are going to be nervous and it's very natural. At least in the other 3 contests, that is international speech contest and humorous speech contest, you have your speech ready. So you know what you are going to say, you are confident. In the evaluation speech contest, the speaker has already spoken. You only need to evaluate him or her. But in table topics contest, the things are different. Till you actually come up on stage, you are going to be super nervous because you don't know what the topic is. So when you come on stage, rather even before that, you will be at the door. There will be 1 minute silence for the judges voting. At that time, you will be called inside. At that time, take deep breaths. Absorb what's happening in the room. Absorb the surroundings. See what's happening. And calm yourself down. By the time the contest chair calls you on stage, you should be feeling comfortable. That's clear? Second thing, pause. Many times the moment we hear a topic, we want to rush into it because we have an idea that yes, I can speak about this. But what happens in such a situation is that we have only thought what we will say in the first 5 seconds. Many times you would have experienced, you go up on stage, you are very confident, you start off confidently, and 10 seconds into the topic, you go blank. Yes? I see faces nodding, I got a response as well. This happens because we don't give enough time to prepare what we want to say. Even in the contest, officially, we are given time to think. So whenever the contest chair will give you a topic, take 10 to 15 seconds to formulate what you want to say. What to say that we will cover in the next portion, but give yourself that time. Don't rush into it. Once you have thought of it, look at the audience, smile, and then start off. Because at that moment itself, you have built some connection with the audience, and your silence has built some suspense in the audience's mind. Now they are also looking forward to hear you speak. Right? So the first portion is clear. Third thing, slow down. Many times when we speak on stage, we are nervous and hence we feel the faster I get off stage, the easier for me, and hence we end up speaking more. If you speak faster, you have to speak more content in the same time. If you speak slower, you have to speak less content. It's basic mathematics. And the slower you speak, the more time you give your brain to think about what you want to say. So all this is just a precursor of what to do before starting off a topic. Now let's come to the first portion, prep. So usually in a Toastmasters contest, the topic will be a saying. A stitch in time saves 9, a rolling stone gathers no moss, etc. And such topics are such that usually you can agree with it or disagree with it. Most of the speakers in the contest are going to agree with it. So to stand out, you can choose to disagree. But our natural brain process is such, the thought process is such, that we tend to agree whenever we hear something. So disagreeing will take that extra effort. It can be risky, but it can also play off. When I was given the topic which I mentioned earlier, I also thought of multiple things and I decided to disagree. So firstly, you have to decide whether you want to agree or disagree. So that is the point. Next, you have to tell the audience why you agree or disagree with something. Many times we hear politicians say random things without any logic. Yes? I see lots of people smiling. But some people, when they speak, they give proper logic as well. In such a situation, we tend to agree with them more, right? So once you have said whether you agree with it or disagree with it, give a proper reasoning. Post the reasoning, an example, an anecdote, a story is very important. Many times when someone has convinced you for something, it is not actually the reasoning that they have given. It is the story that they have told, it's the emotion that they have built inside you. All the great speakers, whoever is your favorite, be it Ratan Tata, Modi, Trump, Indira Gandhi, Nehru, whoever it is, Mr. Mahindra, all of their speeches, if you hear, they will always include stories. So whenever you are speaking about a point, you have given the reason, include a story to back up your reasoning. And again at the end, include that point once again. So you said whether you agree or disagree, you gave a proper reason, you gave an example, and you came back to the point. So that is how you can properly have an opening, body, and a conclusion to the topic. Right? Now, main question in many of your minds would be, how to decide what story I should include? Yes? Even for prepared speeches, what do I speak about? So that depends on what geography you are in, what level of contest you are speaking in, and what is happening around you. If it's a club in Nigdi or Pradhikaran, you can speak about something happening in this area. But if you give the same example at division level, I stay in Kothurud, I don't know what's happening in Pradhikaran, so that example will not be relatable for me. If I speak about Chitale Bandhu Mithai Wale in a contest in Mumbai, they might not relate to it. If I speak about Agracha Petha in a contest in United States, they are not going to relate about it. So your stories need to be dependent on your audience. If it's a college club, you need to speak about bunking classes, being mischievous, being rebellious, because that is what the students are going to relate to. If there are more corporate professionals, you need to speak about how your bosses are irritating you, how you desperately need a leave, how you are not getting a raise, and how the work environment is frustrating, because that is something that the corporate will relate to. So what topic you choose depends on where you are speaking and what the audience is. Now, one more thing, recent stories. What's happening around you is an excellent thing to speak about. Now I'll source 4 or 5 stories from you guys. What do you think you can include? Any funny incident, any important happenings around? Global news?
Maybe budget is something that has came new.
Budget, yes. No tax till 12 lakhs. Excellent point. So everyone will relate with it, except for the rich people in the audience. They still need to pay taxes. Mahakumbh, yes, definitely. After 144 years it happened. So excellent. Everyone will relate to it. Saif Ali Khan being stabbed. Bollywood gossip. 99% of India will relate with it.
India versus England.
India versus England, the T20s, Abhishek Sharma's innings, or even the one day, Shreyas Iyer's innings, Shubman Gill's innings. Cricket is something that unites most of India. Some part of the audience might be alienated, but I also had spoken about the Cricket World Cup in my club, in the district level as well. Any other topics? Delhi elections, definitely. So see, yeah? Indians being deported, yes. But they are illegal, so I feel that's fine. So, I mean, if someone came into your house illegally, would you not kick them out? So, see, within couple of minutes, without thinking so much, all of you came up with so many examples. So, it's very easy to find examples to speak about. And some of you laughed also at the stories. Similarly, when I was given the topic, deserving to win and not winning is better than winning without deserving, I started off, contest share, I absolutely disagree with you. 19th November 2023. At that point, the incident was more recent, so that pain was still fresh in our hearts. India had absolutely destroyed through all the stages in the World Cup, and it was almost taken for granted that we would win the finals. We deserved it. Did we win it? No. On the record books, whose name is going? Australia. Hence, I felt that winning without deserving sometimes is still better than deserving and not winning. So a story which everyone related with, it created an emotion. So just when I said 19th November 2023, someone at the back had shouted World Cup. So without me doing much, I had already connected with the audience, and the judges saw that I had elicited a response, and that will give you those brownie points, right? So point, then reason why you agree or disagree, story, and point again. So prep, approach. Now, does it have to be exactly in this format? No, you can start off with a story, then give the reasoning, then mention the point a couple of times. You can give a reasoning, then include a story, then mention the point. So that is completely up to you. But just note, this is a basic structure for having an opening, body, and conclusion. So prep, approach is clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, sometimes there will be topics which are confusing, where you don't know whether you want to agree, whether you want to disagree. You might have points on both sides. In such a case, you can follow the second approach mentioned over there, which is pendulum. So in pendulum, you can say that on one hand, these are the things why I agree with the topic. On other hand, these are the things why I disagree. Within each of those, you can still follow prep approach. That this is my reasoning, this is a story, this is the point. This is my reasoning, this is the story, this is the point. And while concluding, you can follow multiple approaches. You can either leave it open for the audience to decide, because everyone likes to make their own decisions. So rather than you saying it, sometimes you can leave it open to the audience. Sometimes you can take a center approach, that yes, both things are okay, but I feel there should be some balance. And sometimes you can say that yes, I agree with both sides, but I lean more towards XYZ side. For example, the budget. Yes, I agree that middle class should not need to pay that higher tax. But on the other hand, if we want to become the third largest economy in the world, government needs to spend more. And what is government's source of revenue? Taxes, right? So we as responsible citizens, we also do need to pay tax. So I see both the sides. But since I am a capitalist, I feel taxes are essential, and this 12 lakhs limit for me is a bit too high. So I gave both the sides, but I leaned more to one side. So that is the pendulum approach. So we covered what to do at the start, how to say the center part, the body, how to give the conclusion, what to do once you are done speaking. Many times once we are done speaking, we say, thank you so much and over to the contestant. We just move on, right? At the end of your speech, thank you so much. Just take that one extra second, if the timer allows you, don't get disqualified, but take that one extra second just for the audience to absorb what you have said. If you immediately rush off stage, you're not giving yourself that final moment of attention of the audience, right? So pause is important at the start and also at the end, right? Now, let's take a few questions since we are already at the third green card. Any questions that you have?
From this paper, after this program, I can see the beautiful words.
Yes, excellent. So how many times has it happened for you? You went up on stage. For the guests, you might not relate directly, but you went up on stage, you got a table topics, and you have absolutely no idea what the topic is.
Yes.
Happens, right? Sometimes we have a pro table topics master who thinks he is very smart. I'll give a challenge to everyone. Nobody understands what he's saying. So in this case, I feel we should follow an approach which I like to call tying a goat to the tree. For example, if someone gives you a topic like, are nuclear wars good or bad? Now you might not be aware of what exactly are the implications of nuclear wars. India has nuclear weapons, it might be good, it might be bad, we don't really know. So in such a case, forget nuclear, forget the tree, speak about the goat. In this example, what will be the goat? Wars. Wars itself are bad. Every human life is important. It doesn't matter whether it died from a sword, whether it died from a gun, whether it died from a nuclear weapon, or whether it died from a Chinese virus. Biowarfare is something also which is happening. Does it make it better than nuclear wars? Why do we need to focus on one specific type of wars? Wars in general are very bad. So here, I didn't really speak specifically about the tree, which was the main topic. I tied a goat to the tree and I spoke about the goat. Right at the end, you can say, yes, we saw what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and we hope that it doesn't happen again. But let's not limit ourselves to that one specific example. Let's just avoid wars in general. Thank you so much, and over to the contest here. So when we don't know what to say, try to associate something which is close to the topic and speak about that. And in the next 20-30 seconds, if you can figure out what the topic actually is, you can connect it back to the topic. Sometimes it might be a 4-5 word topic. You don't understand the meaning of it, but you might know a couple of words at least. Speak about those words. So tying a goat to the tree, speaking about the goat and coming back to the tree. That is the point.
And you almost answered what the question I had, but what if in the debate there is a word which you don't understand completely because of the vocabulary?
Yeah.
Is there a chance you can ask the meaning of that? No.
In a normal table topics session in a meeting, you can possibly ask it. But in a contest, you definitely cannot. In that case, you have to use context. That listening to the full sentence, what this word could possibly mean. And sometimes you are going to go wrong. That is fine. Because what's the worst thing that you can happen in the contest? Worst is getting disqualified. The second worst thing, you don't win any award, right? But at least you participated. You got some learning out of it. The learning itself might be that you need to work on your vocabulary. So the next year when the table topics contest rolls around, you know that this was my weakness. I have worked upon it now. I have practiced more. And this time I am more confident. Yes? Okay, we'll take 1 and 2. Yeah.
In a table topic session, should we end the speech or before the red card or after the red card?
Right. Excellent question. How to time your table topics? So table topics is 2.5 minutes. That is 240 seconds at the 120 seconds at the red card. 150 seconds, you will get disqualified. So how I like to plan roughly in my head, first 15-20 seconds will be the introduction, next 40-45 seconds will be the main body, and next 20-30 seconds will be the conclusion. So there is no exact time where you should end a speech. But if the yellow card is already shown, don't start off with a new story at that point of time. Because then once the red card is there, within 30 seconds or within 15-20 seconds, you're still telling the story. How are you going to have a good conclusion? The body is important, but the start and end carries much more value because that is what the people are going to remember more. So timing, each and every speech can be different timing. Even a 1.5 minute table topics can be excellent. So that is completely up to you. Many times it might happen that at the 1.5 minute mark, you have already finished speaking what you wanted to. Don't try to extend something just because you have extra time. Judges are not marking you based on how much time you utilized. Time has nothing to do with the judges. Maybe your 1.5 minute speech was 100 out of 100. And the next 15-20 seconds that you spoke unnecessarily brought that speech down to 80 out of 100. That has happened to me in one of the contests at club level, and I stood second. In that year, only one speaker from every club went ahead, and I missed out on area. Had I stopped at 1:30, I would have won. So timing you can decide based on what the situation is. Yes.
Most of the sometimes the table topic has idioms.
Yeah.
Like if this climbing a tree, like that. How to process that and convert it?
Sorry, I didn't get the idiom you used. What?
Like if this climbing a tree.
A fish climbing a tree. Yeah, excellent. So here you need to understand what is the basic thing. So the basic thing is something out of the ordinary. A cat can climb a tree, a fish can swim in the water. So you have to think of stories in your head which were so random that you wonder how it happened. Saif Ali Khan's stabbing. He's one of the richest people in India, living in one of the most secure societies or palaces in India. How can that happen? Now this story, whether it relates to the topic or not, that you will have to decide. But this is something which happened, which was very rare, like a fish climbing a tree. So many times based on idioms, you will have to think of 2-3 stories. Now this was me just thinking aloud. I would have thought of this, discarded this idea and thought of something else. So this processing needs to be faster. The more you practice, the more this will happen.
Some idioms are so difficult to understand.
Yeah. Yeah. For example, in one of the contests, a rising tide raises all boats. Which means that when the tide is rising, everyone is gaining out of it. Someone might say that the tide was rising, you didn't really do anything, it was just luck. So many times some idioms, one person might understand it differently, one person might understand it differently. How you actually present it, that's what matters. And sometimes you will go wrong, it's okay. I mean, the more you read, the more you listen, the more movies you watch, the more series you watch, the more content you will have to speak about. And one tip over here, without the question specifically, listen to more podcasts. Because podcasts are about multiple different topics. Now, Ranveer doesn't pay me, but the Ranveer show, Ranveer Alabadia's podcast, he invites guests from so many different fields. So even if I listen to that one single podcast, I have at least a couple of minutes content about so many different topics. And then based on what the contest topic is, I can pick out different examples. So then it's completely up to you, whether books is your medium, whether movies is your medium, whether newspapers is your medium, whether podcasts, that is completely up to you. The more content you consume, the more you have to speak about.
So I mean, if you just suggest me if this is also okay, because when you get a topic, or you ask what are you agree or disagree, should I jump into a conclusion of like agree or disagree, or should I just start narrating a story from where probably audience will get an idea as to whether this guy is going to agree or disagree, so that like you make them a little curious as to what's going to happen, so that you can get them engaged with you.
Yeah.
And finally you say, yes, after listening to the story, you might have understood that what they're making sense, this is what my point is, and then it's okay.
Yeah. So since the red card is up, this is the final question that we will take. So in that district contest itself, I could have started off as 19th November 2023. That could have been my start, as you said, starting off directly with the story. What I started off as, no contest chair, I disagree with you. So I felt that no contest chair was something which the audience would not have expected, that created more impact. If at that point I would have felt that 19th November 2023, that would have created more impact, I would have gone with that. So there is no specific rule that you should do this or that. In that 10-15 seconds, you have to take that call that what will stick more with the audience. So that is completely up to you, right? So hopefully I have tried to